Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. Now, too many of you guys have requested for this video, so I think I'm just gonna push everything else behind and I'm gonna move this a little bit forward. So let's take a look at this content, which is basically KRONOS, right? How can you build a free-to-play KRONOS comp and how can you make it work? So if you take a look at this team over here, it's pretty much free to play. There is only one Esper that you are not able to obtain for free, and that's gonna be Hengrye. However, you can replace her with a lot of different Espers, and you understand why when you take a look at the run later on. But for the most part, you can even replace her with Baroness and that will work as well. So you can just do this swap over here like that. However, do take note that Baroness is a wind type and KRONOS is an inferno type. So she's going to have a little bit of weakness over there. She's not going to be able to land her defense breaks that frequently, but her shield can be still quite relevant. So I'm going to show you two teams, and then after that I'll show you all of their relics and all of their stats. And of course my Espers are a little bit busted right now, so I'm just going to do this on K10, and hopefully it gives you an idea of just how powerful your free-to-play Espers can be and how far they can take you. So without further ado, let's take a look at the first squad, which is to use Hengrye over here. So this is kind of like the more healy comp, right? You have 3 support Espers over here and 2 DPS Espers. Now if you don't have Liling because you wrote for Tang Xuan as well, you can also use Tang Xuan. They both have the same leader buff of an attack power increased by 30%. But I think most players out there probably wrote for Liling because a lot of people talked about Liling. So I'm just going to show you how the run looks like using him. So quick plug, if you found this video helpful to you, consider subscribing because subscribing is free and you can always change your mind afterwards. Now a few things to note over here, Liling and Drew make a very decent combo. Because as long as Liling is not dumb enough to use his second skill first like he did here, if he uses his third skill first, Drew would be able to sweep the entire wave in just one hit. And furthermore, with the backup of Suhua, their attack power is going to increase a lot, so you can potentially see some crazy numbers, especially from Drew. Now take a look at Drew, he's going to attack really hard, and this is the reason why I say that do not sleep on Drew. He is one of the best Espers in the game, hands down. So that was easily about 200,000 damage, and he cleaved the entire wave just like that. And the reason why Drew is so strong is because he ignores defense on his third skill as long as he kills the first target, and he bounces up to 2 more times. So he is almost guaranteed to clear an entire wave on his own as long as his main target has low enough HP to die on the first hit. And another thing to note over here is that Changpu will rarely ever use her third skill. So the way the AI works for Changpu is your team needs to lose a little bit of HP first before she uses her third skill, which is usually a good thing because then she will always make sure that your team remains healthy by healing at the right time and conserving her third skill. However, she will not use her third skill to grant you immunity, so that is the priority of her AI. And this is also part of the reason why I feel like she falls off towards the mid game, because she may not be that reliable for APAT. However, while that is the case, her third skill still has a very low cooldown, so as long as your team needs healing, your team will always have immunity as well. And that also means that running her with Ocean Waves is going to be a good thing because you have a 35% chance to reduce all of her skill cooldowns by 1 turn. So that was a rather easy run, and like I said before, KRONOS is the easiest boss, and it took us about 1.5 minutes to beat this stage with 3 supports. So now let's change our team up a little bit. So I'm going to show you another different comp, just one slight difference over here. So let's say you know your team is slightly more sustainable, maybe you're able to fend for yourself a little bit better, right? It is possible for you to remove one of your supports, and I would suggest you to remove the main healer. So for this case, I am removing Hengrye. You can also remove Changpu, that's fine. And now what we are going to do is we are going to include another DPS. And you realize that including one DPS makes a lot of difference. The run times become so much faster and you clear all the waves so much easier as well. So for this run, we are going to use Chalmers. Chalmers is also pretty free to play. You can get him for free, well, at least not really that free to play, but you can easily summon for him. And of course, apart from Chalmers, you can use Freddy as well, but my Freddy is only at 4 stars, so I do not want to put him in this spot. So let's take a look at this new team, right, with 3 DPS and 2 supports, and let's see how different this team functions. And do you remember in the first round when I said that Liling has to use his third skill first? Now he did it, and let's see how Drew compensates afterwards. So after this, he lowers the HP of some of the Espers on the other side, and because now Drew senses that enemies are low on HP, he will be triggered to use his third skill. So that alone clears the entire wave. Now we can probably redo this process again on this wave as long as we have an Anki Chai, because a Suhua and an Anki Chai will constantly reduce the skill cooldowns of all of your Espers. So it is a possibility to maybe remove Changpu and use a Anki Chai instead, so we can efficiently clear off the waves at the start. However, there are 2 issues with using Anki Chai here. Number 1, you are lacking a healer. And while that's not always that important, it could still be quite important to some of you guys out there. And also, none of our espers truly need their skills to be up that frequently, maybe apart from Liling. Because on this stage, Drew does not need his third skill that frequently because his third skill is not gonna do a lot of damage. But I think maybe using Anki-Chai could be a decent progression. So let's say eventually you do not need Changpu just like me. I do not even need any heals on this team because I'm just dealing so much damage so fast. And when that is true for you, you may not even need a healer entirely. So then of course you can replace Changpu with either Anki-Chai or even a 4th DPS. And of course if you refer to some of my previous videos, I don't run supports at all, I just use 5 DPS espers, and that is how I achieve a runtime of 30 seconds. But if you take a look at the timer over here, we are doing really well. So it only took us 1 minute to clear this stage using a pretty much completely free to play team, and I think that is a huge win. So I think that's the end of this video. Do let me know down in the comment section below if you have any questions. It can be anything regarding Team Comp or regarding APAP as well, or even Fafnir, just ask away. And hopefully you found this video informative. If it was, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, it really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. And thank you so much for watching till the end, and this has been free to play by the way, and as always, I will see you in the next video.